In this video, we're going to solve for x in the following equation. And what's unique about this equation is that we have a quadratic. Typically, when we're solving for x, and we'll write a little example here, let's say 0 equals 3x minus 9. If we were to solve for x, we would simply rearrange this equation to get x by itself on one side. So we'd have 9 is equal to 3x, and then divide both sides by 3. So we get x is equal to 3, and we're done. The challenge with this problem is that we have both an x squared term and an x term. And as a result, we can't rearrange this and isolate for x in the way we would with a linear equation. So then the question comes, well, how do we solve this problem? And to solve this problem, we use a combination of factoring and a little bit of logic. So when you're solving an equation that has a quadratic component, the first step is to rearrange it to get 0 equals a quadratic. And this is important for a step you'll see shortly. Once we've rearranged it to get 0 equals the quadratic, in this case it's already done for us, we factor the quadratic. So I'm going to do this using decomposition. A is equal to 1, B is equal to negative 4, and C is equal to negative 5. Remember to watch those signs. So we want to think of two numbers whose product is negative 5 and whose sum is negative 4. So now we apply the decomposition here, so we end up with x squared, and those two numbers would be minus 5x plus x minus 5. And then I'm going to factor a common factor to the first two terms and then a common factor to the second two terms. So we end up with x, and we get x minus 5 plus, and I'm going to factor 1 out of the second two terms because it's already x minus 5. Then I have my feel-good moment because both those brackets match. So I'll factor out the binomial. So x minus 5 times x plus 1. And I've factored that now. So all we've done is gone from standard form, which is up here, to factored form. And the question then is, well, why is that useful? It's useful because think of this. 0 times anything is 0. So because of the fact that the left-hand side of this equation happens to equal 0, what that means is that if this first set of brackets goes to 0, then everything is 0. Or if this second set of bracket goes to 0, everything goes to 0. So what I can do then from there is I can take x minus 5 and set it equal to 0 and solve for x. So x is equal to positive 5. And then I can take x plus 1 and set it equal to 0 and solve for x. So x equals negative 1. And I'm done. So the takeaways from this is when you're solving an equation that has a quadratic in it, rearrange, if it's not already done, to have 0 equals the quadratic, factor the quadratic, and then solve each of the brackets when they're equal to 0. Good luck.